Hi, and welcome to Carolina Varsity's 2014 look at the NCHSAA playoffs. I'm Dale Ross.
And I'm Matt Morrow.
Matt, this next game is another big 4A, the 4AA group of number 10, West Forsyth, 9-2, coming down to play number 7, Hough, at 8-3. So Hough's getting to host a playoff game. There was a point in the season that people were wondering, was that going to happen? West Forsyth's getting to come back and play another Charlotte team. It's a different team. They played a team last year that was heavy on offense, good defense, but heavy on offense. Now they're going to face a team that's very strong defensively and has gotten stronger as the season has wore on, and they've gotten kids that have returned back from injury. And I think they're starting to get a feel for themselves. And quite honestly, I think the coaching staff is head coach is trusting his coaches a little bit more to do things. And all this is kind of, pulling together to take a highly talented team, which Hough is. And you West Forsyth people, we've had a West Forsyth supporter come onto the forum, and yes, Charlotte football. We respect all football, but when you and this is not Charlotte football. What I'm getting ready to say, Hough has a lot of D1 recruits, especially in the defensive backfield, that the Clemsons, the Carolinas of the world think a lot of. And obviously, if you've got kids that next year will be playing Division I football at the highest level, and some of them may even find their way into dressing on Saturdays and maybe even finding some playtime. You've got those kinds of kids that you're going up against to throw the ball. So some comments have been made about West Forsyth's going to have a difficult time throwing the ball. I think it's going to come down to if you're balanced, you're going to need to be. But these DBs that we were just talking about, and we talked off camera, and I was talking about the game last week with Vance. These DBs are very good at run support as well. They're run stopper DBs even. Obviously, if they're having to stop a run, you've got enough yardage that you keep doing that play after play after play. You would take it. You'd take a Van Smith tackling your guy every time. I think I would take that because that means I'm going to get 7, 8, 10 yards a play. But they've got a very good defensive line, a run stopper there. And I think one of the biggest impacts of the team is the return of Christian Young at middle linebacker. That kid's a beast back there. That's just the only thing I can say is he is a beast. And so I think West Forsyth, I'm sorry, I don't know a lot about West Forsyth. You've got a great ball. You've had a great season within your conference. Thing that keeps sticking in my mind is West Forsyth Butler last year and what happened there, and how much does a team progress from there to this season, because the Hough team that you're going to face is a much better defensive team than what you saw last year. Offensively, they may not be at the same level, but they're pretty good. But defensively, they're probably 2-3 times better.
Yeah, with West Forsyth, taking a look at them, they were 9-0 going into their last 2 ball games against Reagan and North Davidson. And they had some tough losses. They lost to Reagan by 1. They lost to North Davidson by 2. Both Reagan and North Davidson are real high seeds in the playoffs. So there's no shame in losing those games.
No.
But the question is, how do you get yourself back mentally up for the playoffs after losing 2 real tough games to teams in your conference like that? Now they got to get. They probably were thinking they're going to be at home for most of the playoffs, having a high seed. Now they got to go on the road, come down here to Charlotte, and play a team that's very talented. But Coach Adrian Snow, West Forsyth has been a really good team year in and year out.
Right.
And we mentioned in a couple other videos about getting over the hump. They have some big motivation here going against the Charlotte team after all they heard all offseason was, you can't beat Charlotte, you can't beat Charlotte, you can't beat Charlotte. Well, now they're coming down here, and that kind of thing can galvanize a team, going on the road, going against something that, you really want to prove that you can overcome. Now with Hough, looks like they're starting to really get things together, like you said. They beat Vance last week, a very talented team in their own right with a lot of speed, and not a lot of people expected that to happen. You mentioned Bishop Ford, who's a heck of a running back up there. Had over 200 yards against Vance, which is no slouch at all. Very impressive. But I think Hough is going to have to be able to have some balance here. You know, you got a well-coached team with West Forsyth. They're going to load up on the run and try to slow Bishop Ford down. So they got to be able to throw the ball here. With West Forsyth, once again, same thing. You got those Division I defensive backs back there. You got a tough run defense. They got to figure out something offensively. And I think the best way you go against a good defense is to have balance. You can't be one-dimensional against a team like Hough because, you know, they're well-coached in their own right. And, you know, if you don't challenge these DBs, like you said, they're going to keep flying up and run support. And, you know, you're going to have a tough situation on your hands here. So this could be a low-scoring game. It could be, you know, if West Forsyth is able to slow Ford down. I don't know how well Hough can throw the ball right now, given some of the offensive challenges that you mentioned earlier. But, you know, if I'm West Forsyth, I'm going to load the box up, try to slow Ford down, and make you be beat in the air. With West Forsyth, you know, they do have some athletes, and you know, but Hough, with some of those Division I DBs, they turn around and play offense too. So
exactly,
you know, if you got some one-on-one matchups loading up the box, you know, I think that might be the way Hough can, you know, keep some balance in their offense by winning those one-on-one matchups in the air and taking advantage of that. There's gonna be a huge crowd at Hough. Another home playoff game. They lost to West Mac, which was a disappointment last year. There were some situations last year that led them to lose that game, some players missing, so forth and so on. So you know those guys that are returning want to make up for that. So you got two highly motivated teams here with different, you know, kind of motivations here. Hough to prove that they're ready to go over the hump and be the team that everyone expected them to be in the beginning of the season. You got West Forsyth coming in wanting to prove that they can beat a Charlotte team and make up for, you know, what happened last year a little bit.
Right.
So I think you're going to have a very entertaining game. I think it's going to be hard-hitting. It's going to be a real good atmosphere up at Hough this week.
So to answer your question on the pass, they can pass if they control when they pass and how they pass. They don't want to come out throwing the ball. They got Tucker that's going to Carolina. That's you know a big time target to be thrown to. But Huff's not going to come out and sling at any point, no matter what's going on. That's just not the best use of their quarterback in his abilities and their abilities as a team. That's really not the best use. Of course, the play that won the game for them at Vance, I believe, was that backside screen that they threw. It was a brilliant call, by the way, and hopefully the person that wants to hear that is hearing that. It was a brilliant play call at the time, and I think that really separated the game and kind of set the gap that it was so hard for Vance to score as it was, that it was really the separator. The big difference in the game was Bishop Ford and his 230 yards and just being able to outrun everybody. And, of course, West Forsyth's going to have to face that. But I think it's going to be an entertaining game. Could be a very tight, highly competitive game. The environment will be great, West Forsyth. The Hough people do come out a bit to support their fans. The stadium, I love it. I love the way it sits down kind of in a bowl. It's a turf field. You're going to really like the visit, I believe. I can't say if you're going to like the results afterwards. That's up to you guys, and I agree with Matt. You've heard about Charlotte, and that's all, you people think. Everybody thinks, and we think. We respect good football, and if you can come down here and win this ball game, we're going to respect you for that. We don't. We just think you're facing a good team, no matter what part of the state they're from. It just so happens they reside in Charlotte, but they could be in Wilmington, and we'd be saying the same things about them. This is a tough team. I hope you guys have a great ball game. Play safe, and have a good one.